Yes, people, good morning. Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another morning view, man. Smash a like on the channel, or on the video, should I say. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys are all good. Check in, get the register done, get the roll call done. Let us know where you're watching from, how you're feeling, what your plans are today. International break, man. Another one. Annoying, man. It's like, it would have just been perfect if, we could just get Ruben in straight away, game after a few days, just get straight to it. But I suppose on a selfish one, from the manager's point of view, he's probably glad for a couple of weeks just to get a work permit so he can actually start
his job. Yeah.
Get a work permit, work with some of the players who haven't been on international break, and also just get a feel for the place. So actually, if you think about it, it's 6 to 1, half a dozen the other, innit? You could just say, actually, it's better just get straight in there, fight fire with fire, sink or swim, just get straight in, work it out as you go. Or in a couple of weeks, just, put your stuff in your office, rearrange it,
have the tour.
Have the tour, find out
meet
what's
everyone,
going on,
shake some hands.
Around. Yeah, you could.
You don't remember anyone's name.
That way.
I hate doing that on the first day.
Yeah,
when you get taken around to go, this is so and so from accounting. You go, nice to meet you, and then 5 minutes later, you're like, I have no idea.
Can't remember.
Who that was.
And it's going to take a while. Exactly, it's going to take a while. So actually, kind of like the Lenny Yoro thing, bit different. But when obviously out of a bad came something where we just pivoted to the positive, have gone, okay, look, he's done his foot, which is really shit in the first, bit of his United career. But I heard him talk the other day when he was like, yeah, I've got my house now. I know the place very well. My girlfriend's here. I'm close with these people.
He's got a new tattoo.
He's got a new tattoo. So it just gave him a chance when you just look on the optimistic side to just settle in different ways that he probably wouldn't have been able to with that much time on his hands. So, but Ruud van Amorim starts today. Well, he flies over here-ish. Let's get into the intricacies of when he does start versus when he doesn't. What needs to change so he can start and get into it, man. It's exciting times.
Yes, it is exciting times. So as you mentioned, there's a bit of confusion about really what's happening today. I guess today is day number 1. Chris Freeland dropped last night saying that Ruud van Amorim won't be able to officially start his new job at Manchester United today, because he's still waiting for his work permit. Now, what he can and can't do, I think, is a bit up in the air, because I've also seen other people saying he's still got to fly into Carrington, and he might even be having talks with Ruud van Nistelrooy, which we'll get to in a bit. But I don't know. I don't know what that, from a legal point of view, what counts as work.
Very murky.
You know what I mean? Murky. Because there are some sort of saying, well, he's not going to be on the training pitch today. They're like, well, he won't be on the training pitch. But then I thought, is anyone going to be on the training pitch today? Because international break and it's day after a game, you would think larger recovery, unless, of course, it might be like a case of, injured players or.
He won't be in the recovery room or the treatment tables.
Exactly. So I don't know. I don't know what that would be. It could be a case of if he's flying to Manchester and Ruud van Nistelrooy meets him, just not at Carrington. Let's go to a cafe or a nice hotel. You know what I mean?
On Zoom, mate.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So something a bit 100%. Like that. We're not working. We're just having lunch. So 100%. there could be
100%
a bit like that. Maybe that's how Ruud van Amorim's day 1 actually happens. But when it comes to all of this work permit stuff, again, this is why it's good that it's happening in the international break. Because imagine we did have a game on Saturday or Sunday, Fleck, and we're thinking, bloody hell, is that going to be done before then? In this post-Brexit world.
Mark's saying he can't come to England without a visa.
He can fly. You can fly in. You can fly in.
Yeah, about a work visa, you can go somewhere. Like, I think, especially like in Europe. Like, I know we're not in the EU and all that, but you can go to these countries without a working visa. It just means, like I was saying, you can't work. So, when we go to European aways or whatever, or you want to go on holiday, you want to go there for a few days or whatever, you can do that. But then, to be fair, if he's planning on staying a long time, so he's going to come with all his stuff. So then, do you have to have a specific permit before you even do that?
I'm sure when it comes to these things, right? And again, I don't know from a football perspective, but I do know this from, again, going back into the wrestling world. Yeah, there are people that work for these companies that their jobs. Actually, we do know this because it was the case. Remember when Man United signed all of those people in Eric's first season, and there was, I think it was a woman, wasn't there? And she was there with the sign going, I got all these people their work permits and work visas, whatever.
Yes.
There are people that work at Manchester United. Their job specifically is to handle work visas, getting them into the country as quickly as possible, all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it'll be a case of, oh, he's just not going to do it. Look, maybe he does stay in Portugal and he just goes, oh, I'd rather do this, but it'll be fine. You know, it's one of those things. You know, Mark's very upset though, clearly in the chat about it.
Mark's going crazy. He said, "No, if you have no visas, no entry, you cannot." I tell you what, no, he's not exaggerating. Mark's at border force. Mark is speaking like an actual officer, where he knows the rules. I'm telling you, he's at work. I think Mark is in Terminal 3.
He can't fly in this fucking country. No,
right now,
no.
North Terminal, Gatwick, watching in border, waiting for people. All other passports this way. British this way. Looking back at us. No, they can't do that. They can't. No. Big up to you, Mark. Big up to you, Mark. Border force, border patrol.
He was at work typing away, listening to us. He went, what?
Mark's vex.
No.
Oh, mate. Yeah, Mark Show says Mark is waiting at the airport to tell Amorim to go home.
He's at Gatwick this morning. No.
You're not coming in. Name's not Dan, not coming in.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
big
up,
my
Mark.
Goodness.
But it is interesting because the way how forceful Mark's being, it's got me wanting to just go on gov.co.uk and just find out what the crack is, for Ruben. I want to know. Like,
now I hope that there's one of these, because it'll be all on X and stuff like that today, won't it? Like, I hope there's one of those things. Ruben Amorim arrives in England, and you can just see beneath. No, you can't be here. Don't. You can't arrive. Yeah, but nevertheless, do you count it today as the new era starting then, even if he is in the country or not?
I mean, technically, yes, because we know he's like the next time we get a game and stuff, all the prep from now on is his. But to the semantics of it, like what Mark's saying, no, like he's not actually here yet. He's not in the country yet. Can't get in.
Work. He started, but I mean,
but his conversations and
his focus,
everything.
His focus now is on Manchester United, right? Yesterday, I don't know if you caught up with the sporting stuff. What was going on? People were getting very excited, Fleck.
People getting excited with what? With the sporting thing?
Yeah.
Because they were 2-0 down. I need to see the highlights. Let me watch them now.
Oh, Flex.
I was 2-0 down. No, actually, sorry, just quickly. I was on Amorim and somebody called him and said, well, no, I see he's 2-0 down at the moment. That's against Braga. I don't think this is going to work. His name was Yards, I think, or I can't remember, but saying, no, this isn't. This is why you can't. And then Marcel's in the back. And like later on, he went, he won 4-2. He won
exactly.
4-2.
When they're saying it's 2-0, you go.
No, wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah, 4 goals in the second half. 4 goals to 2. Lovely.
Wow.
Lovely. As if people weren't excited anyway. Because I agree with you in the sense of when it was 2-0, I did sort of see the sort of discussion of maybe blooms off the rose a little bit.
Yeah, actually, he said he was lucky against City,
and we had a good win against Leicester. All that kind of stuff, and they go, no, 4-2, no problem, just like that. So
if you see me excited, then
it is exciting. By all accounts, I haven't seen the highlights. I was just kind of keeping up with him on social media. Because Laurie Whitwell was out there, and I think he was in the press conference.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
they were sort of saying that Braga had it was quite largely domination from Sporting. Braga got 2 sort of attacks, and then second half it was all Sporting. But in terms of like a week in terms of the build-up, because people might not have.
What are you doing? Don't do that when you get here. Sorry,
people might not have heard that much of Ruben Amorim prior to the last couple of weeks, apart from when he was, the Liverpool links and the West Ham stuff over the summer. But no one had really, in depth, shall we say, heard of him all that much. So we'll talk about a 2-week period where the spotlight is firmly on you and everyone's going, right, we're waiting for you to fail now in your last few games at Sporting. And my goodness me, did he hit it out of the park? Oh my God. Beat City 4-1. Well, he won his first game against the team on the Friday. Then he beat City 4-1. Then a classic Manchester United comeback, 2-0 down at half-time and then winning by 4 goals to 2.
He showed a bit of everything.
Yeah, and then also, not only just that, that's that kind of stuff I don't really buy into it too much, to be honest with you, the football side of things, because you can't really, to pick that up and move that across. We'll see, that will take time. But the stuff that I do buy into is throughout all of this, his handling of the press and his handling of the media has been spot on, absolutely spot on. And that is something that he can bring with him very, very quickly, because we always say it. Look, the journalists, they're bastards, you know, that they
will come for you.
I watched prior to the game yesterday. I did the Ruud van Nistelrooy's embargoed part of the presser, and they even like Ruud. They were trying it. I mean, they were trying to get him to slip up, say certain things, you know. This is the biggest club in the world. Any manager would struggle, right? It's more pressure here than anyone. And then Ruud, in fairness, very calmly goes, well, you look, very obviously one of the biggest clubs in the world. I've been at Real Madrid, though. You know, it's quite similar. And you can hear the journalists go, but in England, no, it's bigger.
Yeah, they just want to bring it. And you go over there, bring it back.
It's like, so you'll have to deal with it. They'll be nice to him initially, you know, and you would sort of say to him, when they're coming over there to Portugal and they're saying those things, maybe bar the Gary Cottrell stuff, and you think, oh, these English journalists, maybe they're quite nice. No, they're not. Okay, no, they're not.
Yeah, because the Gary Cottrell thing was like, it's annoying for us. We always see Gary just do things like that. But to Ruben, he might think, oh, that guy's all right. He's quite funny or whatever. But listen, and it's their job. It's their job to be like that. It's their job to poke the managers, poke the bear, see what reactions they can get. And it's Ruben Amorim's job. First and foremost, it's
not their job to lie, though.
No, absolutely not. It's Ruben Amorim's job. First and foremost, to just, regardless of what the media say, it's about your team. It's about, are your team listening to you? Can you transmit your instructions through to them? Like you said, it's the journalist's job to provoke reaction and do things. But definitely, like you say, when it comes to straight up barefaced lies, they get away with it. I don't know, like the regulation of it is just like you're just allowed to just write something, and it can just go out to the masses of like, there's no substance, it's just a theory, but you're just reporting it as a fact. And there's so many that just go under the carpet, especially in that international break where you go, even little things like United turned interest to this person, like you could just write that and just like,
particularly transfers, or like you said, even the managerial stuff, like the Gareth Southgate stuff last year, or even, you know, early on this year. To be fair, this time around,
whoa. Sorry, the goal for 2-2. If anyone's seen the goal at 2-2, Jesus, he's hit it from about 30 yards. Woo! Sorry, carry on. Bring him in. Who's that number? Who was that? Someone put it in the chat. Who scored that equalizer? What's his name? Not Holland. What's his name?
Very cool.
Howmand is his name. Whatever his name is. Anyway, what a strike! Wow, who's number 19? Bring them all. What a goal for 3-2, by the way. Left foot from that far.
Do you know what you say there?
Look at the passion.
Just to clarify, when you say bring them all, you don't actually mean bring all of them, because we've kind of done this before, haven't we?
No, Flex. Absolutely. Of course. I mean, bring none. Apart from Milkers, if you really want.
Yeah. And I was going to say, he was also the one,
what a strike.
By the way, we've got close to 1,200 people watching. We're currently at 218 likes. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Let's see if we can get to an early 500, Fleck.
Sorry, have they got another good striker as well? There's two. They got two. Is it Harper? What's his name? Mate, sorry, Owen. Wait there. Wait a minute.
Hold on, wait a minute, Flex.
Yeah, Holmand and this other kid. This Conrad Harder. He's handy as well. He's handy as well, mate.
Bring the whole squad.
Bring the whole team. What are you lot saying in the chat? You lot who watch Sporting regular, what are these men saying? That Howman basically looks like Hoyland, the way it's spelled. And this Harder kid. What are you lot saying? What are you not saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, I've done a KG. I've just watched back the footage.
Hold on, wait a minute, Flicks.
I've seen the footage, mate. I've seen the comebacks. Bring them in.
Bloody hell!
I am too gas, because you guys know what I really feel. Yeah, we can't get gas. But Owen, you were saying 500. Yes, 500 likes. Let's get there. 500 likes, man.
It registered, didn't
it?
Yeah, that's all I was saying. A couple of super chats though, Flex.
Yes, Magnus says, just the thanks, as I am in Japan at the moment and can't watch all the games here. Kickoff time peak. Okay. How many hours behind or in front is Japan?
Oh, that is a good question. Japan time. 9 hours in front. It's currently 6:21.
Right. Okay. So that is difficult. So big up to you, Magnus. You guys have kept me up to date. Away from home. Love. Yeah. Big up to you. I wonder. What you are you on work or are you on holiday? I hope you're having a good time.
I wouldn't mind going to Japan.
I was just going to say that I've always wanted to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Shout out Dylan from United District. He was in Japan.
Yeah, he recently went there. Yeah.
It's always somewhere like I just think of like tech and like modern, and then obviously like the kind of old school Japan, like the historical stuff. I'd
like
love to go there.
Yeah, I'd like to go on a bullet train. And there's the wrestling culture is very big in Japan.
Yeah,
I always like to experience that. And like you said, all the sort of old school consoles, they've got loads of like shops you can go to, like that, restaurants as well. Oh,
yeah, I love Japanese food as well. I do. And also their sneaker culture is massive as well in terms of trainers and it's fashion and it's like an epicenter, isn't it? Like a lot of stuff. So All Elite says happy Amorim Day, boys. Much love to you both as always. Can't live without UV now. Can't live without UV. Now let's talk about Ugarte doing the dirty work yesterday. Loved it. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show because also Ruben Amorim had some things to say as well, and we're going to talk about Ruud van Nistelrooy, what's going to happen there. But we will definitely get to some individuals. And Ugarte actually, whilst talking about Amorim, is a good one to talk about. Tabrez, I see what you're doing there, bro. Don't worry, but that's his name is his name. Don't be childish. Tabrez says Conrad who? Pause flex. That's the guy's last name. Do you know what I mean? That's his Conrad H. There you go. Let's do that one. Lil Yo-Yo says hardworking flex and Owen, trooper. Big up. Big up to you, Lil Yo-Yo, bro. I hope you're recovered from the weekend. Lil Yo-Yo was looking sharp. Man was in a tuxedo with a bow tie. You know what I mean? Fresh plaits. Yeah, he was ready. So big up to you. And big up Joe Blackman as well, actually. If Joe Blackman is there, right? I had a really shit moment with Joe Blackman because I didn't realize it was him because he was at the bar. Yeah, it was terrible. I hold my hands up.
No.
He was talking and he was like, "You don't know my name, do you? You don't know?" And I went, "What?" He was like, "I'm Joe Blackman." I said, "What?" I said, "What the it was crazy. And I said, that would never, ever happen again. Never, ever happen again. So shout out Joe Blackman as well.
Well, I heard with Joe Blackman that when we were doing the match yesterday, he put in the things I haven't been home yet. we were like, and KJ was like, "It's not that bad." I went, "What?" He went, "It finished at 5." And I went, "KJ, it's like 3 o'clock, man."
That is mad. He should have been home
so
by then. Where was he?
Did you get home? I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
That's why he's not even in the chat now.
Exactly, mate. Good, exactly. Oh, hit the microphone.
Oh, call it.
Exactly. What you call it with the thingy? I did see with Ruben Amorim as well when he was asked a question about if he's going to stick to the back three flex.
Yes, yeah.
He said, "I have to start from something I know very well and then develop that with the players. We don't have much time to train. There are many games, so I'll start from a structure I know very well," which is basically yes.
I'm playing it, and I like that. And actually, how we. Again, just the answers he says are just logical and they make sense. Saying that you need to go with something I know first, then saying, I have to be able to adapt with the players that I do have, who can defend, who can attack. I think he goes on to say or something like that, or how they defend or how they attack, words to that effect. And again, I do. Obviously, you don't know until someone gets here, and it's all about action. It's all about results. It's all about what we see. But he is giving off all the vibes of someone who isn't underestimating the challenge, who isn't just coming across as cocky and bolshy. And, because of course, when you liken him to early Jose, that is very sure of yourself. That is very, I'm the special one. Just you wait till I get there, mate. You ain't ready to vibe. He's nowhere near that.
That's what I think when you think about that. Yeah. Like, I don't think it gets talked about enough. First of all, he wins the Champions League with Porto, right? Which is like bloody hell, right? Yeah. And bit of luck on the way because Man United should have knocked him out at Old Trafford, yeah. False goals, offside goal, that kind of stuff. But whatever, yeah. He then wins the Champions League, takes the medal off. In his first press conference, he goes, "I'm a special one. I'm not one of the bottle," yeah. And then he wins the league that season. Talk about calling your shot. That is so bold and like big baller energy in it. Oh my god, that's
the domination of Man United at the time. You know what I mean? So
And that's Sir Alex, you know what I mean? And for a couple of years, no one could get close to them. Yeah, no one could get close. That is unbelievable. Though, we're speaking of Ruud Amorim, so many people are wondering after yesterday, Ruud van Nistelrooy, what does his future look like? Still in his press conference afterwards, he was like, we'll see, basically, I want to stay. However, you could argue his actions when he was sort of in front of the Stretford end, drinking it in, felt like a bit of a closure, a bit of an ending moment. He said it was just the closing moment of the 4 games that he was in charge. Okay. But Ruud Amorim was asked about it. He said he will hold talks tomorrow with Ruud van Nistelrooy about his future after flying to England. I wonder how he's going to do that flex since he can't go there. He said, a legend of the club. He did a great job. I will explain everything. Now, when he last said, Ruud Amorim, I will explain everything, is when he was doing the whole, I'll tell you all on Friday. About the whole, if I'm going to be the head coach or not. And he was. So that to me, I think still says that he's probably, I don't see Ruud saying, I don't see that happening. And if anything, I felt yesterday was perfect actually for it. Like it felt such a perfect ending. He came in, had the 4-game period, didn't lose a game. Particularly that last game, the football involved in the other 3, it weren't great, but we're not great, And his job was to literally steady the ship.
Get some results. He did it. He did his job.
Still in the Carabao Cup, won our first game in Europe in a year. Didn't lose in the league, got a good draw against Chelsea, and actually probably maybe could have won that game. Well, I think the draw was probably a fair result. And then deservedly beat Leicester, probably best performance of the season, if anything. Poor Leicester side, but still best performance of the season. Yeah. Solidified the midfield, which, Eric couldn't do in like 18 months, which is basically just put 2 defensive midfielders in there together and close up the gaps a little bit. And then it's almost like you don't need to tarnish that now, and also from a Ruud Amorim perspective and an Ineos perspective, you've changed the structure of how it works at the club now. He's not the manager, he's a head coach. His job, his responsibility is the head coach of the men's first team. You've put this structure in place to get the best out of that. We're going to have the best environment for success and allow you to do the best job you possibly can. So now it should be up to Ruud Amorim going, do you want Ruud or do you not want Ruud? And if he goes, actually, I've got my guys. This is how I work. This is how I operate. Then you go, right, thanks, Ruud, but no thanks, sort of thing. And also, you're a manager, mate. You can't be number 2, even if you want to. Your presence is too much. I was talking about this.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like? I mean, obviously you were there in in preseason and stuff like that. But you see Eric there, and then Ruud was kind of there. I don't know. It just kind of felt a bit like he was too big for that.
Yeah, he is. And look, I just think, first of all, I would say, away from the sentiment, we've got to get away from the sentiment. Like of just giving out the jobs because of sentiment. If there's not the space for the job that is the right job for the right person, you can't just construct a new job role. We've been there. We've done that. We have to be ruthless. And that's not even a disrespect to Ruud. That's just, he deserves that honesty in that respect as well. And you're right. I just feel like there'll be too many chefs in the kitchen, Owen. He's bringing his assistant. So he's bringing his right-hand man, Ruud Amorim, isn't he? I can't remember the name of him. But he's bringing his right-hand man. He's bringing three of them, but also the actual right-hand man, though, is his assistant.
Yeah.
So, but he's bringing his coaching team. So that's a couple of coaches plus his right-hand man. I just don't think you can have Ruud there as part of that, who's not part of that team, except in a token gesture of just being around. And then you can't just go to Ruud, well, I value your, help me learn how big the club is. Just your job is to just, like the Steve McLaren vibe, like, I know there's respect there, but it's like, you've worked with Eric maybe at Utrecht, so you've got a bit of thing, but also I can help you understand this thing. It's like, no, it's a new dawn. I know how big Man United is, and having your presence there and knowledge is great, but we're going in a different direction. Like, and it's insulting to Ruud. You can't just go, so can you just be maybe half striker coach a bit? Like, just, just work with, no. Like, do you know what? As I was doing my match wrap up, review, a Leicester fan come over in my fan view. I don't know if you saw it, and he said, I didn't really clock what he was saying, and he went, it wasn't until after, like, he's like, yeah, Van Nistelrooy in, mate, Van Nistelrooy in, but I thought he was saying like he's saying to us, like, get Van Nistelrooy. he said, Fletcher, you guys will do good with your new manager. Steve Cooper out, mate. Steve Cooper out. We'll have Ruud van Nistelrooy. And he walked off. I went, actually, yeah. I goes, wouldn't mind. That's, that'd be nice, isn't it? That Ruud should go get a job. The Leicester fans are saying they want him. They'll take a chance on him. He was gonna. Burnley was his level coming into the Premier. Getting relegated, but one of the top teams in the Championship vibe. You know, why could he not go to Leicester? And that's the sort of vibe where it's like you go into Man United, have a few games, your stock's there because you're Ruud as well. You've managed one season at PSV. I think one of the promoted teams could take a punt.
I think a Premier League team might have a look at him based on those couple of games. As we've seen, like I think the barometer of how people pick their football managers or head coaches now has kind of changed, and sometimes it is just about being fresh. You know what I mean? Just being in the cycle, if that makes sense. If Ruud van Nistelrooy, if he leaves, he'd probably be at the forefront of some people's minds of like, oh, I'll tell you what, Ruud was on the market and he did an all right job with Man United in those 4 games, and he's a likable figure and people like him. And also remember, he's a big name in general.
Big name. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fine. Yeah, exactly.
He gets eyeballs on whatever your club is. So I think
he'll leave though. You're right.
But that's why the same reason I say he gets eyeballs is why I think he probably should leave, because I just think it's probably too much of a distraction as
just
well.
Break off from all of the old
because I think it would just be like, oh, Ruud's still there, and you know, in the back.
If it goes wrong with Amorim, he could get the interim again. He's holding on to it. Shit.
And also, like I was listening to Paul Scholes, and you listen to Paul Scholes' post-football career, some of his punditry, it can be a bit hit and miss. But he was talking about, you know, Ruud after the game against PAOK, and he was just saying, you just look at him and you just sort of go, yeah, mate, you're not being in that tracksuit and sitting behind the guy. That's not for you. You know, you're the guy, you're the man. You're there and you're in there. You tilt your neck in your big coat, and he's going around to. You know, and to be fair, when he was the assistant, he was still kind of doing this, you know, going over to the crowd, hit my mic again, going over to the crowd. I'm going to break this.
You're having a stinker.
Going over to the crowd and, you know, and giving it all that. And
because the crowd's constantly chanting his name as well.
Always doing that.
Just him being there.
Exactly.
That.
Exactly. And I just feel like with the result yesterday, it was just a perfect ending. Just perfect ending, perfect sign off. And not to say they couldn't be back in the future. You never know what could happen. But I think it's just the right time. International break as well. Steady the ship. Done a really good job. And the weird thing about it is just from the day he came in as the assistant, it's almost like everyone knew we were going to this point. You know what I mean? Where it was like everyone was like, oh, he's coming in. Yeah, he's gonna take over from Eric at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it always felt like we were heading to this.
Yeah,
and we have. So I think it's done for him.
Yeah, and I think it should be not out get him out, but I just think what's best for everything. What's best for Ruud to give him the best chance of going on to get what he deserves, which is to be a manager, and not some side chicks, not some side dish. You know what I mean? I think that he should get that. And for Amorim to have just a clear path to just do what he needs to do. Vito, quite creative if this isn't true, but it made me laugh. He says, Flex Owen, please, I just spent £1,200 on my car repair and can't afford a super chat right now. Please answer my question. So if you've just made that up to catch my attention, it worked because it made me laugh. But also, if you have to spend £1,200 on your car, big up to you. It's not easy when you got to run your car and things go wrong. What's your thoughts on Amorim's comments that he could potentially change tactics? I think we kind of just touched on that a little bit, didn't we? Saying good, like it's a positive that, you know, he's saying he might have to adapt with the players that he has, but he did kind of make it clear that he's going to go with what he knows, which is the 3-4-3. So but positive signs there, Vito, and I hope the car stays fixed and you don't have to spend no more money just before Christmas.
That is a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Nuruddin, been a member for 2 months. Big up Nuruddin. Says, good morning, guys. I really enjoy your show. Big up to you, Nuruddin. Thanks for being part of the family for a couple of months and more after. So shout out to you. RS 17PT says, how do you say that? Well, Hillemund. Is that how you say that? Hilmund?
Hilmund?
Or Yulmund?
Hilmund.
Because Hodge looked like Rasmus is like Hoy, even though it's got the H. H-O-J.
I think would it be a soft J?
Yeah, Hoymund.
Hilmund.
Him anyway, the captain. He's the captain. I didn't even know that. It's captain and good. And the young player, Conrad, is a young substitute to Gyökeres. He leaves this season. Huge fan of Man United and Sporting Amorim will 100% play back three. He leaves this season. So that kid, is he leaving anyway? All right, okay. Maybe he's available on free. Okay, thanks for the little insight there. And Dollar Pro says this for Vito. Oh, love. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. The community just look after each other here, man. That is what we do here. We all got each other's backs. We're at 429 likes because we do have each other's back.
If he doesn't get the £2 to go towards fixing his car,
no. But it's more of a nice gesture because he wanted to. So you're like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? No, it's more about Vito's dignity of being able to do it. He's like, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Do it. I'll spot you. I've got you. Yeah. It's almost like you get to the, me and you go to the cafe. I forgot my wallet, mate. Go on. I've got it for you.
Yeah.
You get this stuff. Yeah.
But it's like I've got my car cost me £1,200 to fix. They've gone, Flex, have £2.
Yeah.
It's not, he's like, well, my car. It is not.
Yeah. But big up. But yeah, speaking of having each other's backs, we are 1,800 people strong, there or thereabouts, and we've got 447 likes. We can get to 1K easy. I don't see why not. I don't even see why we can't get to 2K watching live as well and get 1K likes. So please do smash a like on the video. Let's raise the bar for Ruben Amorim coming in. This one here is interesting. United want Nkunku.
This is a really weird story that kind of came out
like
of nowhere
January.
Yesterday. Well, it's coming from L'Équipe. Now, usually L'Équipe are pretty reputable, you would say. But yesterday, they also had a mad story about Roberto De Zerbi and an overhead projector with a blurred-out contract offer saying, I turned down Man United to be at Marseille for passion. So I don't. So who knows whether you want to believe this or not. But they're saying that Manchester United have inquired about Chelsea striker Christopher Nkunku, who is unhappy about his playing time under Enzo Maresca. Now, let us know in the chat about whether or not you would be interested in this. I mean, for a guy that's got the injury record that he does, coming to Manchester United, I think he'd end up retiring. Like, it would be...
New Dawn, that was before.
It would be that bad. Mate. I would say...
Can't always think that. Can't always just think the injuries.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not particularly interested in that one, to be honest. What say you?
Yeah, obviously injuries. I get it because look, Mazraoui's got a bad injury record, but since he's been with us,
he's brilliant.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Mazraoui. But it's 12 million. It's 12 million.
What a bargain!
He has been a bargain. Absolutely brilliant. But it's hard, isn't it? We're so scarred with so many things, especially injuries in the medical department. We don't really know what that's going to look like. Could it change with different training methods? Could it change with different loads that put upon the players? Could it change with a different outlook from a new manager? One thing I would say about Nkunku is, though, it is interesting that he's not, he's fit now. Obviously he's been out for a long time. But he's fit now and he can't get a look in. He's in the B team. He plays all the time in the Conference League, which is obviously too easy for him. He's like the leading scorer now. He's got like 10 goals, some shit like that. We need someone up front. Like, I don't know. Like, do you know what it is, Owen? I just think with the new manager coming in, things where I'm just like, no, that can't happen. You can't do this. Or where's this person good at? No. I'm just like, if the new manager came in and in January there was a chance you could get him on loan because he's like, I'm not playing.
I would do a loan. I would do a loan. I'd be like, 6-month loan, something like that. Considering our lack of options from a striker.
Or if it was a low cost. But patch, I know, like, what did they get him for? 40 odd, 50 odd?
I don't know. The Nkunku one was a really weird one because for Richard gave the here we go like a year before he signed or something like that, didn't he?
Everyone's saying no, though. To be fair,
the only condition I would do is a loan, something like that. They signed him from 52 million. Pounds.
He's another 9.5. There's a lot of people saying no. Fair play.
But I do also agree. How much of a true proper 9 is he? I know that's where he has played for Chelsea, but it is that kind of.
He plays just off the front / left.
But for a loan, I would definitely
take him on loan
in January. Yeah. But then I would also go like, okay, if we're looking for a loan striker in January, is there anyone else we can also get? Let's consider our options here.
And Nkunku would be good for as you talk about, because the quality usually goes down when you're shopping for a loanee in January, of course, and the availability of them is, if they're available, it's because they just have not played any games or they just
they've had a falling out. something's happened.
falling out or been injured for ages. There's not many positives. You're not going to get someone who's shit hot in form. Very, very rarely do you go and get a top goal scorer in January for big money.
Unless you've got,
not alone.
Yeah, unless you've got unless it's like a striker that's, like a mid-table team or something like that. You've got money to pay kind of situation.
Exactly.
Maybe
then you can go and do it. But it rarely happens, especially with how the Premier League is now. Even teams, like if you try and go and nick a team who's trying to get aspirations for Europe or trying to stay in the league or something and they do really well, even they've got a bit of resolve to say, no, we'll do that at the end of the season. We need, unless it's stupid money.
And PSR, obviously, most teams now go kind of summer to summer, don't they, with the PSR stuff?
Unless the team's been able to bite in the middle of the thing.
Unless you're Chelsea, who every transfer window we go, there's no chance. And then they go, we've got another hotel to sell. And then next thing you know,
they find a way.
They're bringing players in. So the January transfer market's that's changed so much, hasn't it? Because it got to a point where lots of money was being spent in it. And now it's at the point where, because of PSR, you don't really see as much. But there is always that one club that you go, bloody hell, they've actually gone fully out in January. Whether it's Chelsea, a couple of years ago, it was Newcastle, wasn't it? They just had the takeover and they basically
but they bought smart as well.
But it worked. They finished mid-table, didn't they?
It's like Trippier, Target, Wood.
Was that Guimaraes? Was Guimaraes,
I think.
Yeah. And I do think, well, certainly the report would suggest that obviously things are tight for United, but they are going to have a look in January. I think
we've got to try.
They're definitely going to have a look and see what they can do. Definitely,
maybe a wing back or full back of some sort for extra cover, extra help. But we'll see how quick Malacia and Shaw get back. Imagine there's a period of the season. Well, I suppose if you're being optimistic, just trying to look forward and not back, there could be a period where they're all fit for a little bit. Don't know how long it will last, but at some point they're all going to be in the squad at the same time.
A week.
Maybe like one match day week. Well, maybe game week. Yeah, one game week. But where all of a sudden he's got Malacia, Shaw, Mount, Lindelof, Maguire, Evans, then the other three centre-halves, Yoro will be back. All of a sudden you go, he's got way too much to choose from. There's people not getting in the squad on a regular basis. It's interesting. Make sure you guys hit a like. Where are we? 519, 536. Let's keep going, peeps. Uncle says, another super for Vito. Let's keep it going. Look at that.
It started now.
It started, yeah. Ken says, if Amorim wants him, why not? Why not get Nkunku if that's who Amorim wants? Well, remember, it's about who the hierarchy want as well, though.
Yeah, it's not necessarily.
He's head coach.
Yeah.
Coach, mate. Head coach. I do want to talk about Ugarte.
I just got up the stat yesterday. I don't know if you saw this.
I have.
Manuel Ugarte won 8 tackles against Leicester. You might go, oh, what's so important about that? Well, I'll tell you, the chat. No Man United player since data records began have won more in a Premier League game. That is a record. 8 tackles won. And you know what, Flex? That's not surprising because guess what? That's what he was bought for. That's why the biggest stats for him when we signed him, we said last season was it most tackles won in Liga. Season before that, it was most tackles won in the Portuguese league. Last season, it was second most tackles across Europe. The only person that had more was Paulinho, went to Bayern, and everyone was like, he's fucking amazing.
Yeah, we were taking him and all.
Yeah, exactly. So him doing that is not that much of a surprise because that's what you've bought. You've bought someone that wins the ball. Now, by watching him a little bit now and have a much better sample size than a few weeks ago when people are like, he's the worst signing ever. And you go, he's played a game for United. Well, suddenly he's the worst signing ever. Now you're starting to see actually go, right, you see what he is. He wins the ball. If your instruction to him is largely win it, keep it simple, sideways or just release, it can do an all right forward pass sometimes as he settles a bit more, depends on the game. But that's who he is. That's who he is. And if you give him that job to do, he'll do it very well. And yesterday, he was everywhere. So that stat
was
not surprised at all.
Yeah, no, really enjoyed his performance yesterday. Of course, you take into consideration Leicester are basically a championship side and all the caveats that you want to do. I think I just see it very simple. I just think if you understand the type of player he is, his limitations that will rear their neck going forward, which is why he needs the right setup. I think against the top teams, in the really high-level technical games where there's a lot of good football going on, he might not be able to enter the chat for that. But in those games, he'd be effective at, say, closing the spaces, getting in people's faces, winning the ball back, which is his main attribute, and adding a little bit of steal in there. And I like him because even in yesterday's game, where he probably has a bit more time and space than against better opposition, he still kept it relatively simple. I don't think passing is his forte. There's a couple of well, it depends what type of passing, to be fair.
There's a couple
progressive passing.
Right, yeah.
He hit a couple between the lines to pass forward. The one that leads to the second goal, I think, to Mazraoui, then the cross. I think he passes it in between. There's a big gap there. It's not hard to get it for. So I think if there's a clear and obvious VAR, if there's a clear and obvious like gap for him to get the ball through, or there's no pressure, and you can make that forward pass, then he will. But he's not going to try things that are through the eye of the needle.
Why Luis Enrique probably would go, I'd probably rather
get not for me.
Else. You can see that. Not that he's bad. I just need
it's just not for me. Mate, you've got fucking Vitinha and flipping João Mendes and bloody what's the other guy? Zaire Emery, like real technical, you know what I mean?
You can see why he was doing that.
Yeah, he's got some proper good players in there. So fair play. But you can also see though why he would have been Ruben Amorim's guy in that system. Which is more to the point. Like that's, for him coming in, what you look at is go, right, look at the protection as well. Because even in the 4-2-3-1 that we play, or 4-4-2 off the ball, which is what we've been playing, Troy Deeney done a really good piece on Match of the Day. Just talking about the distances between Casemiro and Ugarte and how they're moving in tangent around the pitch with like a gap not bigger than sort of maybe 10, 15 meters, if that. Almost holding hands, moving around the pitch, backing each other up, complementing each other. And all of a sudden now, Casemiro doesn't need to retire anymore. All of a sudden, he doesn't need to go to the MLS. Not saying that he's the answer, and I'm glad he's on this big contract, but all of a sudden you go, well, there's something like he's not just going to play like how he played against Liverpool. We said that, didn't we? I know everyone was saying he should, but we said, let's not get twisted. Casemiro's not going to keep playing like that all. That was one game. His head was gone. His confidence was gone. Kept giving away the ball. The distances in the team was all over the place. Since we've gone to a 4-4-2 off the ball, even with Eric there, as soon as we changed that shape off the ball, Casemiro all of a sudden wasn't exposed. And then when you add Ugarte next to him, all of a sudden Casemiro looks all right again. And again, he's not the answer going forward in high-level technical games when we play against City and Arsenal and, sometimes
you're going to be competing for the top.
Yeah, that's not what we need, but it's about he's on this big contract. What do we do now? How do you get the best out of him now?
We can't get rid of him in November. You can't
get rid of him in November. So you've got to find a solution. And the solution is make sure that the team is compact, make sure he has people around him. He's not left on an island. And actually, he can give you something going forward. He can, if the distances are small, go steaming into a few tackles now and not get isolated and done. And he's looking like he's just all right for now. So they're complementing each other.
Well, that's also why, again, and I don't want to dwell and dig up the past too much, but this is, I saw a lot of people and pundits and journalists and all that saying this yesterday after the game, just going, it does kind of just sort of baffle you seeing the sort of midfield performance in the last two games. Like you said, it's not to say that this is the future, this is how it needs to be, and this is
not perfect.
But like when Ruud van Nistelrooy is in there for 4 games, and one of the first things he has just gone, right, let's tighten up the midfield. Let's play 2 defensive midfielders, make sure the gaps are a bit more compact and closer. And you're going, Eric,
simple.
Fucking 18 months of that. Like Wolves at home in the first game of last season, everyone went, those midfield gaps are massive. And just the sheer and utter refusal to fix that was maddening. Ruud did it in 4 games, not because he's a genius, just because of like it's kind of common sense, really. And points against Chelsea, we got a bit more stretched. And he even said it in his post-match presser yesterday. I watched it, and he sort of said, again, it's only so much I can do. He said it's kind of 75, sort of 80% what we were already doing. And then he goes, and then that extra little bit is when you put maybe your own stuff in, which is changing players in, a few tactical things kind of here and there. And that's when you kind of put your own style on it. But there's not so much you can really do in 4 games. But what you could do very quickly in 4 games, just go, right, like you said, tighten up the midfield, make it a bit more compact. Actually, what we did do much better yesterday is when we do lose the ball in the final third because our decision-making isn't great or some of our passes aren't great, the ability in which we won the ball back quicker and prevented those counterattacks from happening was so different from what we have seen previously. Because previously, we'd build up, get to the final third, bad pass, next thing you know,
and they're in.
They're like, oh my God.
How many times did they snuff out the danger quickly between them as well? Like, if you don't do it, I'll do it. If I do it, you do it. You know what I mean?
That happened more often than not yesterday. And again, that goes back to, I don't even think just getting genius from Ruud. It's just, again, a bit of common sense. And there were those reports last season, might have been earlier this year actually, from Casemiro sort of suggesting that his frustration was that he felt that the way that we were set up was exposing him. And it is largely, and it was true to an extent, in the sense of I can't get around to cover that kind of distance and those gaps. Then again, nobody can, because we've seen so many different variations of, midfield partnerships that couldn't do it. So the natural response to that, which is what Ruud did, is just close those gaps. Like, again, make it a bit more compact. And I don't think that's like a genius to figure that out. So, I think Ruud gets credit for that. And also, like, going back to the Ugarte stuff, remember before the Fenerbahce game, it sticks in my mind because I thought at the time it was wild. I remember, again, people going, he is the worst. He's going to be the worst signing ever for Man United. And I think we have to get out of this. We have to get out of this kind of, they come in, couple of bad performances, which, by the way, that like one's a start, and we're like, they're shit, they're rubbish. And it's like, whoa. Even people like Joshua Zirkzee, I know people aren't sold on him, but there is this barometer of at least like a season or so to see what happens. You have to give the sample size and thing, and then you can make your decision. Look at someone like Mason Mount now. We're like, look, like a season and a half in, it ain't working. You know what I mean? Anthony, what's his third season or a couple of seasons in for him? It ain't working. But for Ugarte, when it's like a start and some substitute appearances here and there, we don't know how good he is. Now suddenly he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So that's when that should, I think, be a lesson of just wait and see, give it at least a season, and then you can kind of
everything's about to change. Like, so everything that you thought in one direction could just completely change. When a new manager comes in, you really do have to just have an open mind, and that's where I'm at with a lot of things now. I know there's certain things where you could go, I don't see Anthony doing this, or Mason Mount won't stay fit for this, or Luke Shaw's going to break down with this, or Marcus Rashford cannot play an inside 10. He's done. He's got to go. Or Garnacho now is going to struggle. It's got to be Bruno in there and Ahmad. And there's so many things. Højlund now is looking like he's back to struggling again. What's good? There's all these different things, right? But the truth of the matter is, let's get the new manager in, let him work. Let's see the sort of team he picks on a consistent basis, where you can see the direction he wants to go in. Let's see how he tweaks things and start judging from there. Because now it's a blank slate. I will say, Rashford was on my side in the first half. Where I sit, I get a really good look at the left wingers, respectively, for both teams, because of just right by the touchline. It's worrying again, man. It's really, really worrying again. And it got to the point, actually, quite a few yesterday. Cam said it yesterday. Tabrez was saying it. A few people around me. And I know some people don't have this. They're like, I don't feel sorry for him. He's on this much money. And listen, I get it. He's got the big bucks, got the big contract. We want to see him deliver. It's got to the point I am looking at him and I'm just like, you're going back there again, bro. You're going back there again. Like it looks, he just looks scared. He looks like his confidence is gone. He looks like I don't know, like doesn't want to be there. It's probably too strong, but he's every time he got the ball right in front of me, I swear to you, his first touch was backwards, safe side, and sort of just give it back where it came from, or cut in and try a cross that just isn't on. It isn't on. It's getting blocked and it's coming back to him. You go, right, well, that's why you probably shouldn't have crossed that. He looked at James Justin, faced him up a couple of times, didn't want to go around him on the outside once, didn't want to go at his man once. And I'm just seeing someone who's scared. And again, when he comes off, it's like that whole, quick, just get me back on the block. I can't do this. And he's just looking a real bad.
Well, you see the contrast, don't you? You see the contrast of like him to, say, Ahmad on the other side, who wants to pick up the ball, wants to try anything, literally try go past people, but gets an assist by doing a bit of a flick, trying something out of nothing, tracking back, pressuring people. That's how he scored the goal against PAOK on Thursday,
Nearly did it again.
Trying to,
what a jump that was.
Trying a bit of everything. And Ahmad has and you can read into this how you are supposed to, of the body language of someone that maybe feels like, it's good that actually this is a fresh start because I'm going to get a proper go at it now. He got towards the end of this little rude bit, obviously got to go at it. But, when you talk about people about who's going to fit and who's going to adapt really well into the Amorim system, you get the feeling of, like with Ahmad, you go, even if it's not actually wide players and it's these inside tension, he could do that. Of course he could do that, And my only hope, and this is my one worry with Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in, is just that I just hope that he has been, and I'm sure he would be, paying attention to what's been going on at United right now, and that when he doesn't come in, because like sometimes managers come in and they'll be like, right, I'll pick the big names, you know what I mean? So it's Bruno, Rashford, Højlund up front, sort of thing. You go, actually, if you've been watching,
exactly.
it's not that at the moment. You know what I mean? It's like, so I hope that's what he goes with.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that one was one for me. You went on to Ahmad there. He's just been absolutely brilliant. And we cannot finish the stream. We can't not finish the show without talking about Mazraoui just really quickly, because again, on my side in the first half, the left back and the left winger, obviously I get a good look at. And it's like, I was like, he's basically got nothing to bounce off with Rashford there. But, his feet nice and clean and tidy, happy with, comfortable with both feet, the way he gets evades challenges. Like, people try run over to pressure him and he's just like, whoops, see you later. Like, no, I'm off it. And actually, that's one thing Eric did say. I always remember in the presser, he said, you can't rush him, but you can't.
Yeah, I think he's talking about how press resistant he was, basically,
And he like, that is good scouting. That is like, I know him. He's going to be really good in this league. Nothing phases him, whether it's left or right back. Dalot having an absolute nightmare again, needed saving. He needed to be hooked. Dalot comes across the Fatara, and then all of a sudden now the kid don't get past. Like, he just went from left to right, no problem. Gets an assist as well. Just brilliant.
And you're right, defensively. Defensively, that's almost the bit that maybe gets a bit overlooked, actually, because I was talking about this yesterday with KG. I remember, obviously, because it was like Wan-Bissaka out, Mazraoui came in. And remember in the summit, it was very much you're going to regret this. You're going to, like, when there are going to be those games where, when we have to have the one-on-one and, it's Wan-Bissaka. No one's really talking about that anymore. You know what I mean? And that's a credit to Mazraoui, because if you do come in, you stink up the joint, then people think about the person you replace. No one's thinking about that now. No. People are talking about Mazraoui going, bloody hell.
Everyone's talking about Dalot. Everyone's
exactly.
What, mate? Dalot, you're in trouble.
Well,
mate.
they're going when those left fullbacks come back. Dalot, you ain't in the team, mate. Like, it's not happening. And again, Mazraoui, like you said, left side, right side, left foot, right foot. But it's also the defensive part of it. There was a couple of points yesterday when I think there was one ball over the top. You're going, bloody hell, they might be in here. Just handles it fine, gives it back to Onana. No problem.
Solid 7 every game minimum. It's like, as soon as his name's on the team sheet, you go, well, he get a 7. Then we move on to work out how the rest of the is going to work. And that's whether you need him to play. I know he didn't probably get a 7 out of 10 when he played in the 10 at Fenerbahce, but he had an assist, didn't he? Or a goal involvement, didn't he? He kept the ball quite well. He's just a multifunctional player to have in your squad. And for 12 million, 12.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not spoken about enough. It's not spoken about enough. So yeah, he's a very, very competent footballer. That's what I will say.
And also, Bruno Fernandes, 250th game,
yes,
goals, assists.
Yeah.
Whether or not, again, whether that means it's, Bruno's come back, it's his best performance all season by a long way as well. He was less wasteful than he has been recently. Now it's just a case of hopefully he can continue that on with Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in. I mean, you know what it is? Yeah, it's not like totally like Rashford, because obviously Rashford had the super high one season down. Bruno's much more like, it's been higher for a while. It's only maybe been the last 18 months or so. You go, doesn't really feel like Bruno like it was
Bruno that we knew.
But
before.
if you can get him back close to those kind of numbers, because even that first goal yesterday, goal. Flick and whip it in, you go, that is a good goal. That is a good goal. You go, all right, cool. And recently he's been just smashing those over the bar. you know what I mean?
think Lick was talking about it like it's not that we didn't create the chances, but he said the narrative has changed, or the something has changed, was the quote. Basically saying that these things are just coming off now. And sometimes in football, it's about the luck. It's about do the things you're attempting come off or not. But this is why we need a solid system, a solid structure. We can't just rely on these moments to just come off or not come off, because you're going to come unstuck. You're going to get periods like this little bit where few of them go in, like against Leicester the first time, Leicester the second time. Then
the second goal gets a bit of luck, comes off the thigh of the Leicester player, doesn't it?
Exactly. I didn't even realize it happened like that until afterwards. So there you go. But it's open mind sessions. It's open mind setting, should I say. Let Amorim get here. Let's see what he does. I can't wait for that first game against Ipswich to see how we line up. It's going to be really exciting.
They're in form now.
And it's not. Listen,
who they beat.
It's not.
Flex
Listen,
Expressions.
I tell you what, Flex Expressions is making a comeback today. He's in trouble, mate. He's in trouble. The gift that keeps giving.
Yeah, the Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Man like Bigums, mate. Tyrone Bigums. Yeah, that's Expressions, bro. Tyrone Bigums, bro. Says he's half man, half amazing, bro. No, he is not. He's half boy, half idiot. That's what he is. I can't wait. Listen. Oh, listen. Oh, they're going to get cooked. Abigail Winters, cooked. Oh, listen.
I didn't realize that Ange, when he does a post-match interview and he lost, he will not make eye contact with the interviewer. Have you seen that?
Yeah, he does it all the time.
Yeah, I think we did really well.
Yeah.
You know, it's really unfortunate though, so it's okay. What do you think about what do you think about goal you conceded? Yeah, it's really bad actually.
Yeah, it's not our levels, man. Not our levels. Yeah, hold that, bro. That Expressions out in the ghetto, bro. Some railings in the alleyway doing his match reaction, bro.
I saw that. Yeah,
bro.
Where was he?
Listen,
was he in jail?
Yeah, the stadium was just behind him, but man's in that alleyway, just looking like Tyrone Bigums, bro. Nah, listen. I listen. DR. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. But anyway, there you go. We are out of here. Smash a like on the video. Descendant of the first crackhead says for Vito. Also says Vito, sorry, says Pharaoh and Lawbreaker eyes more. Maybe on the next one. Maybe on the next one. But yes, we will be across everything that happens. If there's any breaking news, i.e. Amorim gets his work permit and can actually start work, we'll let you know. We're out of here, guys. Take care. Peace.